One of the things about bookkeeping that is just kind of inherent to the work is that it is recurring. When you're working for a business, chances are they're going to have the same transaction that shows up again and again and again. So if you're working inside a business and trying to do your work as efficiently as possible, or if you were a bookkeeper and you were trying to figure out how to serve more clients and to do it faster and work a little bit less, then I want to talk to you about today's topic, which is going to be using rules and setting up rules in QuickBooks Online. So I'm going to hop into QuickBooks Online. This is specifically for people who are using QuickBooks Online. A lot of other accounting systems will have something similar, and so we're going to get there eventually and start playing around with other systems. But I know a lot of you are using QuickBooks Online, and we've started out with that on the Financial Tech Lab channel, so I want to show you guys in QBO. And reminder, if you don't know who I am, Hannah Smolinski. I run a fractional CFO business, and I love teaching all the financial tech, and so that's why I started this Financial Tech Lab channel. And so if you aren't already subscribed, I would love to have you here. And then if you are interested in QuickBooks Online and you don't already have it, you can check out our link below for a 30% off discount for the entire year if you don't already have a QuickBooks account. So you can go and check that out. But let's go ahead and get into a screen share, and I'm going to show you guys how to get to the bank feeds and talk about setting up rules for all of those recurring transactions so we can make our bookkeeping a whole lot faster. So here we are in a sample company of QuickBooks Online, and I just have some transactions preloaded in here. So I have a checking account and a credit card account. Oftentimes things like software subscriptions and the recurring transactions like your utilities, sometimes those will go on either your checking or your credit card. The good news is you can set up rules regardless of whether it is a checking account or a credit card account. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Here's an example of the internet expense for this business. And what we want to do, knowing that internet is something that we're going to have to pay for every single month, we want to make this a recurring transaction so that we can either just have it automatically categorized where I don't even have to look at it, or we can have it set up what category it should go to and what vendor it is, so that every other time this transaction shows up again, we can just quickly review it and click, categorize, and just get it into the books really fast. So I'll show you the difference of those two. So let's click on one transaction. So I'm going to click on the Ziply one, and then I'm going to scroll to the bottom of this box where it says create rule. So let's click on that. And then this box will pop up on the side, and this is where we create this rule. So I'm just going to call this, I just usually use the vendor name. Usually that will do it. I have this because I bank with Relay. I have a couple different types of transactions that Relay charges. So they have like interest income on the savings accounts that I have. Interest income comes in, but then I also have a payment, like money comes in from Relay for doing work for them for YouTube. And so I don't want to set up a rule that all of those transactions from Relay are going to go to the same income account. I want them to go to different accounts. So that would be an example that, maybe one vendor always goes to one account, but maybe sometimes it's split between different ones. So you can actually set up different rules. I'm going to say this is Ziply. This is an expense, money going out. You can go money going in or money going out. And then you can say, if I want it to identify any transaction on any card or account, or if it's just for this very specific account. For me, in my companies, I almost always just click all bank accounts, because sometimes what can happen is like maybe you set up a new credit card because one was compromised for some reason, or maybe sometimes you pay out of the checking account and sometimes you pay out of the credit card. I like to do it this way, but let's say you had a business that had 2 different locations and you had a credit card for each of those locations. You would probably want to be more specific and say, okay, for these transactions, we want those rules to be coded this way, only for this specific credit card, for example. So I'm going to go ahead and click all bank accounts. So it's going to say money going out of all bank accounts, then what is the description? So we have, these are the conditions that we can set. Include if the description contains Ziply. This is default. I didn't have to type this in because it's just pulling from the bank metadata. So if the description contains Ziply, then like I would actually probably even just take this out to make it a little bit more generic. If it description contains Ziply, then I want it to code it to, it's an expense, and I want that code to be internet services. And then I'm going to change this to be Ziply. And I didn't have that vendor in here because this is a test environment, so I'm just gonna save that. And now it should be good to go. I also like to keep an existing bank memo, and then there's this button down here that's really important. This says automatically confirm transactions this rule applies to. So this means that they would not show up, like if the bank feed pulls in a transaction and it complies with this rule, then it will not show up in your bank feed here. It will just go straight to your register. So you actually don't have to do the bookkeeping for the transaction. I typically turn this off because I like to review my transactions, and if this Ziply internet for whatever reason got to be $500, like I would want to see that and be like, hey, that's not right. Like that shouldn't be the case. So I like to review things. It makes the bookkeeping very easy that I can just go, you know, categorize after I look at the amounts. You can also set up another condition here if that's a concern. You could say, hey, I don't want the amount is less than, you know, I know my bill is 100, what was it, 101 or something. So maybe I don't, unless if it's less than $120, then maybe I would auto-categorize it. Okay, so that's something I might feel a little bit more comfortable with. But for the most part, I typically do not put amount rules on there. I just mostly do vendor rules, but that is something that you can set up, and that's one of the things that's very nice about that. So you can set up a description condition, an amount condition, and then the third one was bank text. So that's gonna be a little bit different than the description here. There's bank text. This is like the bank memo that comes in. This again, you can say contains, does not contain, is exactly, blah, blah, blah. I try to do things in the positive, not is not. So the description contains what? Microsoft for a little while was, and I think maybe they still do this, the description that comes in has like all these garbled numbers and letters in the back. So Microsoft transactions, we had a lot of them. It was getting really annoying because I felt like there was never a recurring theme to say like, hey, it's always going to contain this. So what we ended up doing is like just, if it said MSFFT and it was under a certain amount, it was Microsoft and it was for software. So we were able to kind of use those two to be able to set up a rule. So you just kind of need to think about like what makes sense for this particular transaction. For this one, I'm gonna take out these two that I don't need because I'm not gonna get any other charges from Ziply. I'm gonna keep this on this auto add feature off and click save. Okay, so now that we've saved that rule, you can see here that it's Ziply Internet Fiber for 101. The vendor name has been added, and then the rule shows up here. And then you can see too, because I have 2 months of transactions in here, down on, that was on September 16th, on August 16th, you can see that that rule was also applied. So all I need to do is click post, and we're good to go. So let's go ahead and set up another one. So Hiscox is insurance, and let's go down, again, we click on it, and then we go to create rule. So we're gonna do Hiscox insurance. And then this is money out. Again, I really like that all bank accounts just in case. Sometimes insurance doesn't like to accept credit cards either. So like if they ever forced us to use the bank accounts, I don't have to go and redo this rule. And then let's do, you can also do is exactly. So if you only want it to be very specific things, you know, you can put that in here too. I'm gonna leave this one simple. I like to keep my rules really simple because I don't have a lot of different conditions I need to worry about. But let's just make sure this is going to business insurance, the payee is Hiscox, and then I'm fine keeping the existing bank memo. How about this? How about let's do it this time? Let's make the amount equals the exact amount it has been. Maybe I want it to auto add just for the year until I renew my insurance, and then I'll update the rule at that point in time if I want to do that. If I know exactly how much it is and I feel comfortable with it, maybe auto adding is okay. So if I click save, and then I might have to refresh. Also, when you're in this QuickBooks feed, you can also expand this to full screen mode, which makes everything a little cleaner, which I kind of like. So you will see there's no Hiscox transactions here anymore. Let's go to the register. And then you can see that 2 have been added. So I did that 1, and then it pulled the August transaction as well. So that's really great. I love that if you feel really comfortable about the amount and you want to do that, I think that's a really great rule as well. That's it. That's the rules. That's how you set up rules in your QuickBooks Online account. It's very easy to do, and you can do this for all of these recurring transactions you have in your business, even if it's just like one-time recurring, quarterly recurring, or just a vendor that you go to, even if maybe it's a cafe down the street that you always take your employees to, and that's a business meal expense, you might want to classify those transactions through a rule as well. So even if it doesn't have to be on a regular cadence, it's just saying anytime something comes through on the bank feed that is related to that vendor, then you can create a rule around it. So hopefully that is helpful to you. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comment section below, and I will get to those as best as I can. And if you do need to get a QuickBooks Online account, you can get 30% off for the entire year, along with a 30-day free trial by going to financialtechlab.com/QBO. All right, thanks so much, you guys.